Starting.
Excellent, excellent.
Indeed, floral. Looks beautiful. Everybody. I'm like, all I have to do is read these, right? That's all you have to do.
Very different.
Is anybody on? Can you tell?
No viewers. 0 viewers. Zero.
Maybe we should Facebook it like now. If they were live. I can do that. Maybe Sarah can get our friend can do it. I don't know, can you?
I'm not touching this.
Yeah, everything was anywhere that's only 2 tables here, and that's family, and then segment. Where do you want me? With Patty and segment.
I believe it uses them here. That was like what happened to me.
Okay, like that. Because we are on what they did, they included and when I was there,
That's a nice time.
Yeah. It's not 64941 anymore. That's all. She's not on her business card. That's the number she wants. The other one's still great.
Oh, we have a new one. Awesome. Now, how would we know if what's she's commenting?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't part of that. This is my first.
And like, comment on YouTube.
It might be on one of those other tabs. Well, it was really, it was touchy when they were setting up the camera that we wanted to activate. And so, like, I was thinking, oh, just adjust the camera right now. And I was thinking, wait a minute. Let's not. Yeah, because typically when you're going to be editing it yourself, so it doesn't seem that it's not, you know?
Yeah.
But the actual video is not.
Oh, okay.
And I think they can hear it. I just realized.
I punched the first page back, and I punched the
where we used to park so close.
No, right here. Right here.
Good to see you again. Hi, how are you? I'm doing the technology.
How do you like it? Different numbers.
Very much like the 8-hour sleep. So it's small. It's well, yes, before I have it together for 8 years. I'm
I once actually am thinking I was getting
and then I did an abbreviation.
Independence Day as your
But this is it's really this part of my life. I get to anticipate maybe happening and then understanding that.
couple hours.
They never did.
Well, you want to one of your choices.
I know. It would be a nice idea. You could walk over to Florida Theater, walk over to the university. It is a nice thing to do. You'll never say no. Still happens.
Wow. Now. A letter from
Just say Josie.
I guess all business stops.
Well, I have to say, after attending college booster, and having a fine education, a good education as an undergraduate, and certainly one with the same standards was important, and then being able to engage in that in my business life, I got there, and I sat there for several weeks. I was there for the accreditation, it is such a high level. It was amazing to be able to really excited.
Speaking of girls going on the my classmates applied to the Harvard Institute. So what the girls did so they had pictures.
I know you were a little older, but sometimes I see the seniors and the juniors and people like they study in college to me too. You know, you never know. Well, here's for you.
There's one in Georgetown. Out in the off-line.
rural environment. It's a small city, but it's very separated from the city. That's my partner in crime. I was Maryland for a lot of years, and in Credit Suisse, and then I was but I have to say it was the best time of my life, and I'm just really happy I've had this opportunity to not work. I put a lot of hours in, a lot of years in, and it was because I still need to step back for a while. Right. This is my 7 times. So they're young. I still have a 3-year-old, and she just got out of diapers, so he's a cheek. Oh, that's right. So,
You call your grandma. Like she worked in New York City. And one of the rules was.
it should be the same. It still should be the same. Exactly. I actually had made never. I have left too much behind for my yeah, but I never. I dated myself. Yeah, and now I've actually left. I didn't. Well, yes, sort of. I mean, never with the same company. Yes, but I just think everybody knows it's not going around. You know, and it's, yeah, I think it's tough to remain
Well, it's chased. So I got 2 cats. So I came with all the money now. And it is
yes, everyone's kind of moved together and compacted. Yes. We have such an interesting family history.
And I had a funny story about Maryland. I had a Maryland. Lived across the street from me twice a year. So I ran name Merrill Lynch has they have
They're over and heading to them. And they got to Road and they offer these Bristol Myers. It's all the firms that have kind of taken up that space.
We're going to say
this is how my career began. That's hysterical.
Grandpa said, it's a businessman, really. Mary, what was the name of your family restaurant? The very first thing was she hasn't been long. You don't she wanted Virginia, but Duke smokes.
Amazing. I get it. Well, if I run into Duke later, I'm going to say, I do know all trail about you. I'll have to say, Ann Kelsey and shared, I'll see you. And shared small towns.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you to our wonderful musicians. Yes. And what grade are you girls in? 8th grade and 4th grade. Wonderful. Thank you, girls. And I'd like to introduce again Dr. Patty Fagan, who will say a few words about what's happening at Stewart.
All right, well, you're seeing a lot of me today. I want to thank you again for being here and just to take a few moments to share with you the results of all the energy and fundraising around our 50th anniversary celebrations last year. Many of the gifts that we received last year are very visible. If you go down the main hall to the Townsend Garden, it's been totally renovated. It's this garden area that's central to the school, and it now functions as a wonderful outdoor living space. It's just amazing. The girls love it. Another gift that we received was a challenging 14-station low ropes course that was installed in our wooded area behind school. It's used for leadership training at every level, and we actually used it with our summer program students that we use for developing new students that will come to Stewart, and they actually really enjoyed it a lot. Also, if you look around the building, you'll see lots of new classroom renovations. Most of those were also funded by the 50th Gift Initiative. Programmatically, we are thrilled that the 50th extended support for our efforts in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and by the introduction of 3 highly funded new initiatives. The first one, the Leadership Institute, was funded by an alum and her mother to build on our already amazing emphasis on growing leaders for the future. And that program will be teaching team building and group dynamics to our girls. We've always excelled in leadership, I think. But now we're really drilling down to teach our girls what does it mean to get a team to work well together and to do the things you want them to do. So that's going to be an exciting new program. We've also started an Institute for Finance and Economics that will teach financial literacy as well as develop a deep understanding of the social, political, and global implications of money management as our girls work to make a difference. We know that our girls are highly motivated, but we also need them to understand how finances work into affecting change in the world. And so that program will actually begin with simple financial literacy programs that will be infused in the kindergarten and lower school program, all the way up to the high school, where they'll be doing some in-depth economics and finance programming there as well. And finally, we have a brand new campus ministry and service learning program directed by Annie Sotop-Stolar, a Stewart alum and fifth-generation Sacred Heart School girl who will be taking our old community service program and actually developing a comprehensive service learning model grounded in the goals and criteria for girls in preschool through 12. We're very excited about that. The whole basis for service in the Sacred Heart model is to build relationships and reciprocity, to understand that we don't just come in, swoop down, and try and save people, but that we really try and find as a human family what we have in common and what we learn from each other, those we help and those that are being helped by us. We all have something to give in that equation. So she'll be working very hard on that. In addition, we ended our 50th year with the development of a new strategic plan that's charting the course for our next 50 years. I hope you'll take a look for it. It'll be on our website shortly, and you'll see the entire plan outlined. So, again, I thank you all for being here, and I'm going to turn it back over to Alicia. Thanks.
Good morning again. And now it's, I think, the most special time of the brunch that we have every 2 years, which is the presentation of the Barbara Boggs Sigmund Award. Some of you who are here remember Barbara as a teacher. Raise your hand if you remember having her as a teacher. We're seeing her around, or maybe you were around when she was the mayor of Princeton. So she was really a pillar in our community and believed in, really goal-free, giving back and improving the human condition in our community and around the world. And that's really the criteria we use for this award. Again, a committee meets and reviews nominations and makes a selection. And we are so happy today to have Steve Sigmund, Barbara's son, and his daughters here to present the award. So Steve, why don't you come
All right. Very nice to see you guys. What a great question that so many of you were in my mom's class. This place, Stewart, is very special to me and to my family. In fact, during those days, some of my fondest memories were playing on those rocks back there. Come to pick her up in those years. As most of you know, my dad started on the board here at Stewart after my mom died. Used to present this award every year, and he sadly passed away earlier this year. So he couldn't be here, but might be a second best. And even more than just at Stewart, the Sacred Heart way really shaped my mother's life. She always said that even though she grew up in the male-dominated 50s, she learned that women were leaders, because that's what was around her every day at the Sacred Heart schools. The nuns were her teachers, they were the accountants and the record keepers, they were the phys ed instructors and the coaches, and the nuns were the principals and the administrators. So the Sisters of the Sacred Heart went their own ways in the 1950s, and they taught their girls to do the same and to be leaders, and it wasn't odd for women to be leaders. In fact, it was what was expected of them. And that's what inspired women like Barbara Boggs Sigmund to work in the Kennedy White House, to teach here, and as I found out today from Gary, to be the first to teach sex education here in the early 1970s. I think she may have slipped out one past enough. I'm not sure. Well, that was in the early 1970s, right? By then she was using it because there was only 3 of us. Sorry. To run for office when women really didn't do that, and to keep going with courage when after she was diagnosed with cancer. In fact, I'll never forget the night after my mom lost her eye during her first bout with cancer when she was running for U.S. Senate in 1982. There was a fundraiser scheduled for her that night after she'd come back from the hospital, and the organizers assumed that she'd want to cancel it. But she wouldn't hear of it. Instead, she got up on stage in her best purple dress, face swollen and a patch covering her eye, and the first words out of her mouth were, "Well, aren't you all a sight for a sore eye?" And that was really the Sacred Heart values and the Sacred Heart order talking through her. And that was what she learned through all those years with those strong, courageous nuns. And as her son, I'm so proud to present this award to someone who embodies that same spirit of leadership and courage and independence. Gary Hughes-Bender has an accomplished career. She's been a wife and a mother. She's raised 3 kids. And she's been a leader in fighting for the disabled and the rights of the disabled, and in using something that someone could look at as adversity and turning it into a gift, both the gift of her daughter, Alex, and the gift of building a better world for people with disabilities. More than 20 years ago, when Gary's daughter was born, it was still extraordinary to treat people with disabilities just like everyone else. But now it's the norm, and people like Gary, Hughes Bender, and Alex have made it the norm. And just as with my mom, that's the Sacred Heart Order working through her, and that's the Sacred Heart values working through her. So I'm proud to present this award wherever it is. And I'd like my daughters, Barbara's granddaughters, Ruby and Nola, to come up to actually give the award to Gary, because they are the next generation of representing the Sacred Heart values, much more than some guy. To present, so we're very proud to present the 2014 Barbara Bach Sigmund Award to Gary Hughes Bender.
This is an incredibly huge honor for myself and my family and for the Sacred Heart tradition. I was in the first grade of Stewart a little bit over 50 years ago. I may not look that old, but I am. My mother is a graduate of the Sacred Heart. My grandmother was a graduate of the Sacred Heart. My aunt, my sister Susan was a graduate of Stewart. My sister Katie was a graduate of Stewart. My sister Mary Beth, who's not here, was also a graduate of Stewart. My niece Maeve is currently enrolled at Stewart. Her sister Hope went here for a long time, and her brother Aiden was in preschool and kindergarten. So for me to be up here today has so much meaning. It almost makes me speechless to think about how important this award is to me living the Sacred Heart traditions. I also went to Sacred Heart for preschool and kindergarten, so I have a 14-year Stewart Sacred Heart tradition. I've had an interesting career, and as you've heard already, my daughter Alex was born 21 years ago with Down syndrome, and she was really the gift that I received that made me realize that corporate America wasn't for me, banking wasn't for me, options trading wasn't for me. They're all wonderful because I got big paychecks and I could go on fabulous vacations. But it really wasn't living what I believed my passion to be. So when Alex was born 21 years ago, there was not a lot of advocacy around people with disabilities. And we lived in the Chicago suburbs at the time, which was a beautiful place for us to raise our children. And I walked into the preschools and the nursery schools, and I said, I want to enroll my daughter. And they said, why? Well, she's 3 years old, she gets to go to preschool. I said, well, who's going to help her here? Why does she need help? Well, she has a disability. Can't you see who she is beyond her disability? And that's one of the things that we do at the not-for-profit that I currently work at, Valley Lake for All, which is a not-for-profit that I co-founded 4 years ago. And that is create an awareness of the gifts and talents that people with disabilities have. Many of us were brought up in an era where people with disabilities were hidden from our communities, institutionalized from our communities, and not given the opportunities that we all had in our educations. And fortunately, that's changing. It's changing rather slowly, but it's changing, and we see more people with disabilities in our classrooms, in our communities, working and living in our communities and outside of institutions. So when I look back at where I am today and this journey that I've taken, I've received the most wonderful gift of my daughter. I also have 2 other children. People say you have 3 children here. Yes, I do. And it's guided me in a way that has
changed my life, and fortunately I'm in a position now where I can change the lives of others. And to live that life and to be able to honor my Sacred Heart values is something that I would never have imagined when I graduated from here in 1975. So the Barbara Bach Sigmund Award is meant for the Sacred Heart values of a social awareness which impels to action, a critical sense which has led to reflection in our society and its values, and a profound commitment to the improvement of the human condition in the world. And to me, to be honored with those 3 sentences has the fights with the schools, the advocacy, the fights with the system, everything that I've done in my life is nothing compared to somebody saying that you live these values. It's really quite impressive. And of course, I don't think I'm worthy, but that's amazing because there's still so much work to do. I like to say in my job that I'll know I'm successful when I don't have a job anymore, and I'm not advocating for people with disabilities, and I'm not looking for opportunities for people with disabilities to live in our community outside of institutions. The other thing I'd like to sort of mention here is that we are all born into privilege in some fashion or another, and it's not the privilege of our socioeconomic status, it's not the privilege of our race, it's not the privilege of our gender. It's a privilege of being part of the Sacred Heart community. And it's our responsibility to handle that privilege in a way that does create change in our communities and does advocate for people that aren't as privileged as we are. And when I think about that, and I think about the idea of privilege, I just don't, it's just, you know, we know God has a plan for all of us, and for me to have this opportunity to be born into this privilege and to live these values is just an amazing, amazing journey. One other, I could go on forever and then start crying, but one other thing that really impacted me recently was a quote that somebody shared with me, and to me it underscores the responsibility of our privilege. And the person that shared this with me is actually a member of the Sacred Heart family too. And this person went to the Stewart School on the West Coast in San Francisco. So I was like, gosh, this is a really cool thing. So this quote that I want you to take to heart, and it's about the power of our privilege and the responsibility of who we are in our communities. And it's attributed to a theoretical physicist named Paul Dirac. And this quote is, pick a flower on Earth, and you move the farthest star. And that's our privilege, and that's what our responsibility is as members of the Sacred Heart community. Thank you so much to the Sigmund family. You girls are lovely. Thank you so much to my family. Gosh, if it hadn't been for my parents 51 years ago, I would not be here today. And the other years that I've lived, and I won't have to tell you right now. Thank you to my friends that have come, my sisters. And thank you mostly to Dr. Fagan, Kristen, who was so helpful, and the entire Stewart community.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Gary. How beautiful. If anyone wants seconds, please help yourself. There's plenty of food. Now I would like to introduce 2 members of the Board of Trustees, Sarah Kessner, class of 1996, and Cynthia Schumacher, class of 73. There you are. Sarah is the chair of the Stewart Fund for the Alumnae chair, and Cynthia was, as you heard earlier, the chair of the 50 Phenomenal Philanthropists Committee for our 50th anniversary. So I'd like to welcome them and introduce them. Okay. The opposite problem from Gary. I've got to lift this thing up a little bit. There we go. Hi, everyone. As Alicia said, I am the Alumnae chair of the Stewart Fund. Last year and this year. And the Stewart Fund is the new name for the annual fund at Stewart. So it is the annual campaign that raises money for Stewart that goes into whatever it is that the school needs help supporting. It supports things like maintaining this beautiful 55-acre campus, the faculty,
the really robust financial aid program, curriculum, technology, athletics, everything you can think of. That's what the Stewart Fund specifically supports. If you think about Stewart as a business, which is a not-for-profit, but the annual budget's around $16 million. And much of that money that's needed to run the school comes from tuition, but tuition alone just doesn't cover all of that. So the Stewart Fund is one of the ways that Stewart can get the money it needs to keep up this amazing place. I want to share just a little bit of information about last year's Stewart Fund. Last year, overall, the Stewart community raised more than $455,000 for the Stewart Fund, which exceeded the goal. Over $63,000 of that total came from alumnae into the Stewart Fund, across 152 women, graduates of Stewart, and a huge thank you to those today who were a part of that number of people. Our alumnae participation in annual giving is about in line with those of independent day schools around the country at about 14%. A gift in truly any amount to the Stewart Fund is a vote in confidence of the school, the mission, and of our students for our future alumnae. So I encourage you to find me after everything is done here if you want to know specifically what the Stewart Fund has supported. I have a huge long list in the last year of what it's done, everything from renovations to new blinds in places, but as you walk around, I can actually point things to you that the Stewart Fund has supported. Thank you very much.
The Alumnae Council Award.
Oh, hooray! Thank you. Oh, this is nice. This is the Alumnae Council Award.
And the Alumnae Council Award goes to the class that has the greatest participation in the annual fund. And this year it's the class of 1967.
Wow.
Thank you very much. She's going to go shine it on.
We're going to clean up and we will.
In our day, we follow.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Wow, thank you.
I do have to lower the thank you for being here today. It's really wonderful for me to see so many familiar faces. I'd just like to reiterate what Sarah said. Thank you for your generous support of last year's Stewart Fund. It makes such a difference. Now I'd like to talk to you about a project called the 50 Phenomenal Philanthropists Project, which started last year. And what happened was, last year, in honor of Stewart's 50th anniversary, a group of committed alums raised over $524,000 for the school. This gift was the largest sum ever raised collectively from alumnae. 51 women supported this incredible project because they appreciated the difference that Stewart had made in their lives, and because they wanted to make a transformational difference in the lives of Stewart students. Their gifts supported a variety of projects, such as STEM, the Women in Leadership Speaker Series, student leadership training, financial aid, the Summer Stars program, the new Stewart Institute for Finance and Economics, and existing endowment funds. In addition, their gifts provided for new kindergarten classrooms and air conditioning in the preschool, new bleachers in the small gym, and new equipment for Tom's playground. Dr. Fagan's theme for the year is, "What would you do?" It's my hope that this project will inspire alums to join together in the future to support similar initiatives. Thank you so much for your support. I'd now like to recognize the names of those alums who are here today. If you wouldn't mind, if you could stand, please, when your name is read. Kristen Rodewall Dawson. Just keep standing. Carrie Ziabatoni Dykeman. Gia Prushone Lozides. Debbie Endersby Wazda. Sarah Burchell Katzner. Kristen Lopez Watt. Beth Marks Loops. Roz Moxon O'Connor. Anne Murray Patterson. Katie Hughes Redman. Alicia Prushone Walker. And finally, Lydia Zadinger. Thank you very much.
Before Cynthia steps away, this is another award. Now, these awards haven't been given out every year, but we're going to start giving them out again because I think they're fun. And this one has been named the Alumnae Big Bucks Bowl. So, and established in 1990, but again, it was given out for a few years and it stopped, and I think it's fun to bring it back. So the Big Bucks Bowl goes to the class that gave the most during the last fiscal year. So that class for last year was 1996. And I would now like to introduce Kristen Dawson. Kristen is the president of our Alumnae Board. And Kristen will introduce our current board and the new members who are joining us this year.
Thank you, Alicia, and thank you all for coming today. It's great to see a wonderful turnout. Okay. So I'd like to first thank the 2013-2014 Alumni Board. If you could please stand as I read your name, that would be great. Michelle Ball, class of 94. Jennifer Larson, class of 2007. Rhoda Kaufman, class of 2009. Jasmine Farrer, class of 87. Jefferson Wattis, class of 96. Viv Sutherland Morrow, class of 83. Roxanne McGilroy-White, class of 79. Melissa Baggins-Scott, class of 75. And Mariam Wassel, class of 02. And Kristen Lopez Watt, class of 90. And Lydia Zanko, class of 79. For this year, we actually have a large number of alums that will be joining the board for the 2014-2015 year. We have Veronica Robinson.
That's last night.
Yes, yes.
All right, and Beth Marks, class of 84. Elena Gaines, class of 2008. Susie Hensey-Greifen, class of 96. Krista Goki, class of 2006. Ingrid Schmeider, class of 2005. Caitlin McCarthy, class of 2006. And Catherine W. Russo, class of 2000. I'm sorry, class of 1989. And welcome to the board. So now we would like to present the Kearney Cup, which is to the highest percentage of alums that returned to Alumni Day this year. And this is based on our RSVPs. So I don't know if everybody
people are coming throughout the day also who attended last night. So if we can see who's here from class 74. How many of you? What's another big group? 79? Oh, there it is. And how many were in your class? How many were in your graduating class? Yeah. So percentage goes to 74. And now it's another fun time of the brunch, and we just began this again 2 years ago with recognizing faculty and staff who have been at Stewart for longer than 10 years and have retired from their service to Stewart. And we would like to recognize them as honorary alumni of Stewart. So this year, those who have retired with more than 10 years of service to Stewart: Pat Jones, if you just stand and then we'll invite you up, Chip Cash. Also some who could not be here: Jean Hene, Donna Stark, and Tika Simpson. And then another educator who has retired from service to Stewart is Jen Landis, but she's already an alum. But we'd like to recognize you too for your service. So if you three could come forward, we have a little gift for you and a certificate that says you are now an honorary member of our association. You have to say it. You get yeah. Oh, good picture. Yeah. And now I'd like to again introduce Kristen Lopez-Watt, class of 1990.
Good morning, everyone. I know some of you in the room, and I've met some today. For those of you that I don't know, Kristen Lopez-Watt, class of 1990. I'm an alumna, I'm a parent, I'm on the Alumnae board, and now I am working with Alicia to share the position of co-coordinator here at Stewart for the Alumnae office. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about our network, about our community, and what's brought us back here today. Also to begin discussions about how this network can broaden and strengthen our relationships with each other in the broader community. This past spring, I had the opportunity to attend a cocktail event in New York with Stewart alumni. In those conversations, it was fascinating to learn that most of the opportunities in the past with career networking had been word of mouth. So it had been teachers, parents, fellow alum helping each other with career networking. I think some of the comments I had were, if I had the resume of a Stewart girl on my desk, it would be on top, and she'd be the first person that I would interview for the job. So to follow up on these conversations, some of the energy in this room, the board we have in place, we wanted to task this strengthening of our network into a Stewart Career Network. So the Stewart Alumni Networking Group, which is a subcommittee of the board, is going to steer and grow this network. And Alicia and I will help them do that through technology, through a virtual space online. And it will be a secure login. And we're just going to help promote everyone and and broaden and strengthen the community so that we can get those internships, those job connections, mentorships, which I know many of you have said you would happily provide to students here. So with that, I wanted to bring up a fellow alum who has had the opportunity of running these connections, Rhoda Coughlin, class of 09, and she's just going to share a little bit about her opportunity and how it helped her and hopefully inspire us to continue this.
Hello everyone, my name is Rhoda Coughlin. I'm class of 2009 and it is our 5-year reunion this year, so we're pretty excited about that. When I went to Stewart, I came here in 8th grade and knew immediately it was a special place and it was somewhere that was going to be a home for me, but also somewhere that would have a big impact on my life. I did not know how much of an impact it would have, but in 8th grade, I was looking for a babysitting opportunity, and word of mouth happened to find the Enck family, who I'm sure many of you know. They had 2 children, Paulina, who was actually seen in the Tartan Tones today, and Robert, who goes to Princeton Academy. And I happened to sit with them for a few hours, read a couple stories, and thought that would be the end of that relationship. It was not. Years later, I graduated Stewart, going to Georgetown with the intention of going into diplomacy. I wanted to be a French diplomat and use the skills that I learned here to better the world. Subsequently, at Georgetown, realized that that was not my passion, and that was not the path that I was going to be pursuing. So come my sophomore year, I was spending half the summer studying abroad, and the other half was looking for some sort of an internship that would help me realize what I did want to do with my life. And this is when the Encks came back into our world. Mr. Enck runs a mutual fund based out of Princeton, Equinox Fund Management, and happened to be looking for an intern that year. Word of mouth got around that he was looking for an intern. Word of mouth got around that I was looking for an internship, and so the relationship was born. I spent half of my summer working for him and realized that finance was my calling. It was what I was passionate about, and it was what I wanted to pursue. I spent a wonderful summer with him, grew our relationship as a family. Our family is now very close with the Encks. But beyond that, Mr. Enck has truly become a mentor to me, both professionally and personally. And beyond, he helped kind of me figure out exactly what I wanted to do in my professional career. And I am now working in that world and truly happy. But none of that would have happened had it not been for Stewart, for that one babysitting gig, and for word of mouth. Today I know that it's very difficult to find the right internships and to find the right job opportunities, and even for those of you who are in the corporate culture, to find the right intern. And I truly do think that if it hadn't been for that internship, I wouldn't have ended up where I am today. So I encourage all of you to really leverage and use this new networking tool that we'll be implementing soon to promote yourself, promote others, look to make connections, whether it's professional or not, and just continue to grow this Stewart community, because it truly is something that's impacting your life, whether you're here now with kids or living in another city. I really do encourage you to use it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Clodagh. And so as soon as we get everything up and running, we will certainly send you off an email. And if you have anything to post, we certainly invite and welcome you to do that. And then those who are looking, also to check it out all the time. We would love to take a photo of each reunion class who is here. So, Brandon, where would you like people to do this? In the arch?
Doing it right under the balloon arch.
Okay. So as you get more food and mingle and chit chat, Brandon, maybe you can just call up years. You can start with anybody here from 69? Okay, we'll take your picture. So, we'll start there, but I just wanted, before we do that, and kind of dismiss in that way, just review the rest of the schedule for the day. At 12 o'clock in Corona, which is our main gathering space, there will be a sustainability forum. So I would certainly invite you to come and listen to that. I think it's going to be wonderful. We have speakers, we have alum, current students, faculty, staff, administrators, parents. talking about sustainability. So it'll be very, very interesting. That'll be 12 to 1:30. Starting around 1 o'clock until about 3 o'clock is Stewart Fest downstairs in the gym area. Really fun family time, kid time. We also have at 2:30 a field hockey match out on the field. If it's not raining, a tennis match up at the courts, both against the Pennington School. And then at 3:30 is our alumni mass in Corona. Please, I'd like to stay for that. And I'm still looking for a couple of readers. I haven't heard back from some of you. So if you could, will be here and would be interested in reading, please come find me and I will give you the information. Okay, so we'll start with Rusty. With photos, and then 74, you're next. So get ready.
Maybe we should just say 6 so she doesn't have to be alone. Yeah. Yes.
Where we go?
Class of 1974, you are up.
Really appreciate it. Those were wonderful sports. That's hard to present to a whole community.
How's it going?
And you're like, really? Is that new? Because there were boys when I went to school here. Stina, it's good to see you. This is my husband, Ian.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Did you grow up around here? I did not. I grew up on Long Island.
Steve's good friend with us.
We spent a lot of time. Oh, yeah.
Class of 1979. You are up. Class of 1979.
We did it.
Those other people would show up and point it out.
We would park across the street. That is plus. Now, that's our home builder house. So when we were building it, our house was like, yeah, I'm doing it for a day. So we're like, yeah, I'm like, okay, my picture took. There, home sign. I know. You're a home sign. I don't know why you're a home sign. No. You're a home sign.
I won't tell.
You ain't gonna try in the future. Ever heard of that? You need a ball down? You don't have $1,000? Rent it for $50 for the night. Mom, you know you can. My daughter made.
I made. What grade are you in?
I am in 4th grade.
Fourth grade? You're at the school? Nothing's different.
Sorry about your
Where's your alumni?
It's the most beautiful one there. That's what you were going to say, right?
You didn't hold the sign.
No, I was going to hold the sign. What was your favorite food? You did. I didn't make it.
All my friends made this in my class.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you.
Take care.
See you.
Where are you living now?
She doesn't know. She doesn't know.
There's one other woman.
Yeah, I like that.
Hello? We need 1989 for a picture of the lunar. 1989. And then Kristen.
I'm a good mother.
One of my sisters is here. My other one is not.
Now it's fine.
I'll see you.
Class of 1989. Class of 1989. All right.
Right there.
I thought there were more of you.
Hey, Betsy.
So many people. I really like these things. I know.
Thank you. Thank you. That was not an easy find for my budget. I'm okay. I'm a proponent of the gift. I like, yes. So, yeah. But I'm glad. So I actually got somebody like that. So, you know. I'm like, that's something that. Oh, good.
Oh my gosh. Take care, man. Thank you so much. Girls are amazing as always.
Yeah. I don't know. What she said.
Just one for beach.
So here we go.
So cool. We're sitting here going, we are so cool. All that stuff.
Doing well? You had fun?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, good. You sound great.
Thank you. See you Monday.
We'll see you later. Yes, I do. I can go home. Take care.
Are yours? They said they have to do them all.
Is that your day?
Do you remember when we had to write what we wanted to do?
Mark's boys were like, forget about it.
You were out that day.
Yeah. So we all Oh, yeah. And so she,
Well, it's massive perfume.
I'm gonna grab
you did? She's Tell my son I will. Tell him his godly mother.
Maybe afterwards.
Are you next?
Yeah, Michelle would love that. So, yeah, she had all the girls write a little, well, coming back. There was a girl. One of them was like, I love you. No boy. No boy signs. They were adorable. Yeah, I think some are just pictures. Dot.
Oh, I saw you. Thank you so much.
I wrote hello from your others.
I know.